Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Gale Thompson. I hope you're having a great week so far. Today I am part of the Just Cards video hop and this time we're doing masculine cards, and we're going to meet every month and provide you with ideas especially for this hop, and I hope you'll continue to join us. Today I'm going to use the Hero Arts paper layering koi. There's also a color layering koi stamp set, but I'm not using it today. I have some 110 Nina Solar White Classic Crest, and I've got my distressed oxides, and I'm not using any technique at all. I just have my little inker, and it looks like a hot mess, and it's going to continue to look like a hot mess for quite a while. It doesn't matter if it's blotchy looking because I'm not really blending. I'm just laying the color down on the paper. I'm just going to let you watch here. This is super duper speeded up. I'm not the fastest crafter in the West, but I wanted you to see the technique anyway, and the colors. I have the lids laying up top, except for that twisted citron, which the lid's flipped over. This is for the fish. I'm going to die cut the fish out of this, so I mean, you might think it's kind of wonky colors, but if you hang in there, you'll see it works out great. I wish I were a good blender. The Oxide inks are way easier than the regular distress inks, but Laura Basson and Christina Warner, they're really good at that, so I would check them out. Now I'm going to use the fun part. I'm spraying it with water with my distress sprayer, and of course the oxides react with water, and it'll get a little bit of a chalky look, and it looks, it gives it a little bit more dimension. So now I'm going to make the water the same way that I made the fish. So I'm just going to let you watch. Somehow I managed to put twisted citron in just about everything. And I'm not normally a green person, but this green's just so wonky. I like to include it. And water has a green tint sometimes when it's in a pond situation. Now I'm misting it with water as well. I give it about 15-20 seconds before I dab it up. And there's your water. I can never get enough of what these distress inks do. They're beautiful, and I can't wait to get the new colors. Now I'm bringing back the fish paper, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of shimmer mist on it to make little bubbles. Next I'm using the Lawn Fawn circle stack, and I'm going to cut out the circle out of my little bit smaller than 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top sheet. Circle works better because if it's crooked, it isn't as noticeable as if it's a square. Now I'm going to use one of those 3-dimensional embossing folders by We Are Memory Keepers, and I'll have all the products listed below with links and picture links on my blog. I'm making sure to line it up straight. They give you a grid to go by. And I'm using tab 2 on my big kick with only one plate on the top. And there's some beautiful texture there, but it's kind of discreet. Now I cut the paper layering koi die into 2 pieces so I could have a bottom and a top, because if you flip up the top pieces, then you could see the regular paper underneath, and I didn't like that. Now it didn't cut all the way through the first time, so I'm just layering it back. All you got to do is just kind of put it down. There's like a little groove you can sit it in, and I'm just going to run it back through again. My old trusty big kit. The big shots are beautiful and nice. I just don't need one yet. So there is my fish. Now I'm going to trim off my front panel a little bit to make it even a little shorter. Now I'm going to cut up my pretty panel, which I'm still admiring, and I'm trying to decide which side to pick. And I'm sorry it's off the camera there a little bit, but I'm just cutting a square out to put behind my window. And then I'm just going to tape it down on the back, and I don't know how I wound up out of screen. I'm so sorry, but it'll just be for a second. Next, I'm going to take another sheet of 110-pound Neenah Solar White Classic Crest, and I'm going to cut it lengthwise, 4.25 inches wide for a top folding card. And I'm using my Teflon bone folder to get a nice sharp crease. And now I'm just going to build the card. I'm using the Distress Collage medium. It gives you a little bit of wiggle room rather than using the tape runner. And it doesn't take very much to hold it really well. I still use my multimedia mat as well though, and whatever other adhesive is sitting around the table. So now I'm just putting down my card layers. Now it's time to work on the koi. I wanted to give him a lot of dimension, so I fiddle around with this quite a bit, and all of those little gills, or not gills, scales, that's the word I'm looking for. I fluff them up, and it's easier to kind of just fold the fish back and kind of work them really gently because you don't want the white on the paper back to kind of peel up. And I just keep working at it for a few minutes. And now I'm going to attach it to the bottom. And I should have put the needle tip on this bottle, but I didn't before the video. So rather than stop like a person should, I just kept going and just used my finger just around the edge because I want it to pop up a little bit. So then I mess with that just a little bit more because, well, I can't leave it well enough alone. And I layered it onto the bottom piece. So when you look underneath, see it's got more dimension, but it doesn't just a white piece of paper underneath. And I'm just going to glue that down. And then I fluff it back up a little bit. Then I add some black Nuvo drops and to make the eyes pop a little bit. And then I promptly ran my hand through it, not once, but twice. The first time it landed on the black, it wasn't a big deal. The second time it landed on my sentiment, and I had to redo it. Do as I say, not as I do. So I line up the sentiment with my grid mat, and I use some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And I use my powder tool on a piece of that scrap Neenah white paper. And I line it all up again with the grid mat. It makes it really handy to have that mat on the table. I add some clear embossing powder to the top of that. And you know, it seems like no matter how many times I do this, I still am amazed by embossing. That's what got me into this to start with. I let my heat gun go for about 15 seconds so it doesn't warp the paper as much. And once it's shiny, you know it's done. Then I check the sizing of it for final fitting, and I make sure it's dry because I've actually smeared embossing if it's still warm. And then I just kind of by gosh and by golly figure out what size I want. And here's the finished card. I added some droplets from Pretty Pink Posh to it and called it a day. By the way, that Happy Birthday Handsome is from My Favorite Things, but it is discontinued. However, I found it on Amazon and I have it linked for you, like I have everything linked below. I really hope you enjoyed this stop on the hop and that you will visit all the other stops and like, comment, and please subscribe. It makes our days, and YouTube is making it a lot harder for us to even really do this. So your subscriptions, likes, and comments mean the world to us. And I'm going to link here to a couple other videos that I think might interest you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.